Everybody knows. Gretchen.
Jennifer Griffin, thank you. For more on this now, South Dakota Senator John Thune. He joins The Real Story. He's chair of the Senate Republican Conference Committee and also chair of the Senate Commerce Committee. Senator, great to have you on The Real Story. This situation with Russia, did it cause the U.S. to be caught flat-footed, and what is the direction forward?
Well, I don't think we should have been caught flat-footed. This is sort of predictable. This is Russian behavior, and any place there's a vacuum, they're going to try and fill it. And because of our weakness, the Russians are preying on that, and they're trying to become the dominant player in the Middle East. And they're creating this unholy alliance between Iran and Syria and Hezbollah. And I think it's a very bad scenario, and obviously they're supporting the Assad regime, which we are arguing needs to be replaced. And frankly, that's what the neighborhood and the moderate rebels in the area believe as well. And so we're at conflicting purposes here, and obviously they're getting in the way of what we think is the right outcome.
Okay, we also want to talk to you about the recent airstrike on that hospital in Afghanistan. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest just announced that President Obama has called Doctors Without Borders and apologized for that attack. The group is demanding an investigation into the attack that killed 22 people, calling it a possible war crime. Where do you fall on this?
Well, look, Gretchen, it was a mistake. Obviously, that is not supposed to happen, and no military does more to avoid civilian casualties than ours does. Obviously, they're going to get to the bottom of it. General Campbell, in testimony before the Armed Services Committee yesterday, indicated that they're going to investigate this, and we'll await the results of that. But obviously, a very tragic mistake, but something that certainly was unintended.
Okay, and breaking during this show yesterday, the head of AMTRAK sending a letter to Congress warning that they may shut down a bunch of service around Christmas time unless Congress approves an extension of the deadline to implement advanced safety technology. So what is Congress going to do?
Well, we have a very short timeline to act in, and the problem we have is, with perhaps one exception, there isn't any railroad in the country that's going to meet the December 31st deadline. And so Amtrak has indicated December 1. We've heard from Union Pacific, which is a large freight railroad in this country, that they're going to start notifying customers before Thanksgiving that they're going to start shutting down operations. So this could be a huge nightmare for people who use commuter railroads to get to where they're going, for freight railroads to transport the things that we need, items like chlorine, which is needed for water treatment facilities.
I understand all that, but Senator, do you think that Congress will give the extension, and is it also the responsibility of Amtrak to have not put these safety mechanisms in place a long time ago?
Well, most of the railroads have been trying to comply. They've already spent $5 billion on the way to $9 billion. They just aren't there yet, and they're going to need this deadline. And irrespective of what's happening, we are where we are, and if we don't fix this, if Congress doesn't fix this, it's going to be a disaster. And so, yes, the answer to your question is we have passed a bill through the Senate, part of a highway bill, that provides an extension that requires metrics and keeps pressure on the railroads to meet the deadlines, but acknowledges that they're not going to meet it by the end of this year. And so we hope that legislation moves forward and that we get a fix in place. It needs to happen soon.
All right. Senator Thune, thank you so much.
Thanks, Gretchen.
Now to our extreme weather picture. New warning.